How do you do? Must be having a great time. Myself, I'm Harar. I'm principal AII College, Barabanki. Today, I shall take up English of class 10. I'll be focusing on grammar. My topic today is usage of have and do. Dear children, in your previous class, you have learnt that words can be classified according to the function which they perform in a sentence. And this is called parts of a speech. Today, we shall talk about the most important part of the speech, that is a verb. Verb is the most important thing in a sentence. We cannot think of a sentence without a verb. A sentence may be without subject, it may be without object, but it can't be without a verb. Verb has been variously defined by the scholars or grammarians. I'll try to define it in a simple way. A verb, dear children, is a doing verb that shows an action, an event, or a state. A sentence may either have a main verb or a helping verb or both. In other words, a verb is a word that informs about an action, an existence of something, or an occurrence. The verb is the main word in a sentence. No sentence can be complete without verb. Let us take a few examples to prove my point. Hari laughs. A very simple definition of verb is that it is a verb that says something about the agent or subject. Hari laughs. What does Hari do? He laughs. So laughs is a verb. The boy writes a letter. What does the boy do? He writes. So writes is a verb. We have done our work. What have we done? What is the subject we doing? We are finishing our work or doing our work. So have done is a verb. I feel scared. What is being said about I? He feels. I feel scared. So feel is a verb. She was late for the school. So was is a verb, Now, we can further classify verbs in many types. And these are main verbs, helping verbs, linking verbs, transitive verbs, intransitive verbs. Dear children, I shall not talk about all the verbs here. I shall confine myself mainly to the helping verbs because it is with the helping verbs that our topic of today, the usage of have and do, is concerned. Now, helping verbs. As the name suggests, dear children, helping verbs help or support the main verb. They are also called auxiliary verbs. Examples are, children are playing with a ball. Children are playing with a ball. Or is an auxiliary verb or a helping verb because it helps us to identify the stage in which the action of playing is taking place. So, auxiliary verbs helps us to identify the tense of the sentence, the person of the subject, and the mood, as well. So, or is a helping verb. I was reading my book. Reading is the main verb, was is helping verb. So, what is the function it is doing, It is helping us to tell us that the action is continuing and the action was in the past, They will elect a leader. Once again, will is helping the main verb elect. What is it doing? It tells us that the action will take place in future. My uncle has finished reading the book. Now finished is the main verb and has is the helping verb because it is helping us to identify the tense and the number of the subject. Now, it is in the present perfect tense. Now, it has been used with verb third and it is in singular, So, has is a helping verb. You can take my pen. Now, here, can is a modal verb. It is a helping verb, Now, children, we are moving on to our main topic, that is the usage of have and do. Have and do along with be or call primary auxiliaries in English language, There are two types of auxiliaries in English language, primary auxiliaries and modal auxiliaries, dear children. So we are going to study the primary auxiliaries have and do. We are not concerned here with be, So have is a primary auxiliary as well as a main verb. We use have as a helping verb and as a main verb. It is an irregular verb. Its three forms are have, had, had. And its present simple form with third person singular is has, Examples are, he has studied a lot, Now the primary auxiliary have becomes has in singular or third person singular, you can say. He has studied a lot. It is now helping us to frame present perfect tense, He has studied a lot. The action began sometime in the past and it is continued up till now, you can say. So has is a helping verb here. They have learned their lesson. Once again, it is a helping verb and it is in the present perfect tense. It is helping learned. We had left before you got here. Now, it is the second form of have has been used here. And had plus verb thought, this is perfect tense. And when, dear children, we talk of two actions in the past, so the action which takes place first is put in past perfect and the action which takes subsequently is put in past indefinite tense. So had left is past perfect tense, Let us have a drink. Have here is a main verb. It is in the sense of enjoying. I'm going to have a bath, a specific use of have with infinitive. Dear children, we shall study have as a helping verb in the beginning. As a helping verb, have is used with the past participle or verb third of other verbs to form present perfect and past perfect tenses, Examples are, I have heard this story before. Now have is a helping verb. It is helping the main verb, heard, and it helps us to denote that it is in the present perfect tense, She has not visited Agra. Once again, has is a helping verb, and it is helping the main verb visited, present perfect tense. Have you been invited? Present perfect tense, passive voice. You notice the structure of the sentence. Have you been invited? It has been used with been. Once it goes into passive voice, been is added to it. The doctor had reached before the patient died. It is past perfect tense, had plus reached. Just as I told you that if two actions took place in the past, the first action is put in past perfect and the second action or the subsequent current action is put in the past indefinite. So had is a helping verb, it is past perfect tense. My elder brother left home after it had rained. Now had plus rained, once again it is past perfect tense because it is helping the verb rained. Now dear children, when we make questions and negative in present perfect or past perfect tense, how do we make use of have? Just as you know that inversion takes place, that means the first helping verb, it comes before the subject, and the second verb, whether it is helping verb or the main verb, remains in its place. Have you heard the news before? Now it has been used to frame an interrogative sentence. Had the farmer plowed the field before his son came? Once again, it is past perfect tense, and had has been used. Inversion has taken place. It is an interrogative sentence, where had she been these days, once again past perfect tense, it is helping the main verb been, and it is an interrogative sentence, WH type. Why has the boy bathed in the river, Has is a helping verb, is in the present perfect tense, and it is helping the main verb bathed, and it is in interrogative WH form. Why? The shopkeeper has not sold his spices today. It is a negative sentence, and it has been used, adverb not has been used between the helping verb and the main verb. Notice, dear children. Now the second usage of have as a helping verb is with perfect continuous tenses. As a helping verb, have is used in all the three perfect continuous tenses: present, past, and future. Examples are, he has been learning his lesson for an hour. Has been is a helping verb. It has been used with present participle or verb 1 plus ing to make present perfect continuous tense here. It is an assertive sentence. I had been wearing my mask since morning. Nowadays putting on mask is very necessary, so I had been wearing my mask since morning. The action is taking place in past perfect continuous tense. Had been is a helping verb here. You will have been watering the plants for 10 minutes, Will have been. Here you have got have is being used with will and been. It is being used to frame future perfect continuous tense, The action will take place in future. The action will have taken place in future, Now, another use of have with should plus have plus verb third or past participle, and it is used to talk about things we regret. If have is used with any other modal auxiliary or any other primary auxiliary, then of course we talk about the things we regret. Here it is being used with should have. For example, I got really wet walking home last night. I should have taken an umbrella, you know. That means I got fully wet all over when I was walking home last night, and I did not take an umbrella. Now he is regretting the fact that I should have taken an umbrella. So should have here, you know, tells us that it is the thing which we are regretting, you know. Now we shall talk about have as a main verb. As a main verb, have is used in some specific senses, which are as follows. Of course, in this small video, it is not possible for me to give all the senses in which it is used. I mentioned some of the main important ones, you know. Have plus object is used in the sense of eat, drink, enjoy, experience, or many other things. The exact meaning, dear children, depends on the following. Now, examples are, let us have breakfast, you know. Here have is used in the sense of eating. Let us eat breakfast. Instead of saying let us eat breakfast, we prefer saying let us have breakfast, you know. I had a coffee at the restaurant last evening. Here had is being used in the sense of drinking. I drank coffee at the restaurant last evening. In spoken English, it is preferred, you know. I use had. I had a coffee at the restaurant last evening, you know. Have a good time, you know. Here it is being used in the sense of enjoy a good time. You had difficulty in arranging the money. Now had is used in the sense of experienced, you know. You had difficulty, that means you experienced difficulty in arranging the money. The second usage of have as a main verb is when we talk about possessions, relationship, illness, the characteristics of people and things, you know. Examples are, her father has a flat in New Delhi. Now has here is used in the sense of possession. Her father possesses a flat or owns a flat, you know. It is in the sense of ownership has. Do you have any brothers and sisters? Now when we talk of relationship, you know, we make use of have here. My grandfather had a bad cold last week. Here, when we talk of illness, you know, have is used in the sense of illness. My grandfather got a bad cold last week or had, you know. Your old friend has a bad temper. Now we are talking of the characteristic of people. So your old friend has a bad temper. Now the third use of have as a main verb is have plus object plus infinitive without to, or have plus object plus verb 1 plus ing is used to talk about instructions or orders. Examples, dear children, are I am ready to see Mr. Mohan. Please have him come in. So have is used in the sense of order, you know, polite order here. He had us laughing all through the discussion. Now once again, had is used in the sense of instruction. Now some specific uses of had, dear children. In the conditional sentence, you know, we make use of had, you know, to refer to a condition which is unreal or hypothetical. In such sentences, its structure is as follows. When we suppose something or when we assume something and it is purely imaginary and it is in the present tense, dear children, then the structure of sentence would be if plus subject plus had plus noun, that is the subordinate clause, and in the main clause subject plus would or should with verb 1. Examples are, if I had money, I would buy a car. I don't have the money and I can't buy a car.
This is pure supposition.
I'm imagining that if I had money, I would buy a car. So had is used in the sense of present, but this is pure imaginary. If you had lands, you would build a house, Once again, this is an assumption, pure supposition. So you do not have lands and you cannot build a house. This is pure supposition. If you had lands, you would build a house. Now, dear children, if the possibility which is being talked about is in the past, and it is purely imaginary, the structure of the sentence would be as follows. If plus subject plus had plus verb third form in the subordinate clause or adverb clause, and in the main clause, subjects plus would have slash should have plus verb third. Examples are, if Radha had worked hard, she would have passed. Now this is pure supposition, dear children. Neither Radha worked hard nor she passed. It is purely imaginary and wishful thinking. So if Radha had worked hard, she would have passed. The second example is, if you had come to me, I would have helped you. Neither you came nor I help. It is just a wishful thinking, a pure assumption, dear children. Now, sometime we make use of had with better, and after this we have got infinitive and to is hidden, When we make use of had better plus verb 1 to give a strong advice or tell people what to do. Examples are, it is late, you had better hurry up, So because you are late, so it would be in the fitness of things if you make hurry, So it's late, you had better hurry up. Strong advice. You had better tone that music down before your father gets angry. So before your father gets angry, you have to tone down the music, Now, had plus better refers to immediate future. It is more urgent than should or ought, Example is, you had better do it soon, He is leaving for South Africa next week. Because he is leaving for South Africa next week, you have got to do it soon, So, we talk of had better for immediate future, Had plus better refers to immediate future, dear children, but the form is always past. You have got to remember it. We had better tell him the truth, We are going to tell him the truth in the immediate future, dear children, But the form is in the past, had better. Had is sometimes dropped in very informal speech or spoken English. We sometimes drop it in conversation, You better go now. Had is dropped here. I better try again later, Once again, had is dropped here. Now, if have is used with to or had to, what does it indicate, Have is used with the infinitive to talk about obligation in the present, Examples are, I have to be there by 5 o'clock, That means I must be there by 5 o'clock. He has to move the furniture himself. That means he must move the furniture himself. Now, have to, has to is talking about the obligation in the present, Now, had plus infinitive is used to express obligation in the past. Examples are, she had to walk on foot during her visit to the village last year, So, she was under compulsion to walk on foot during her visit, So the thing is happening in the past, The man had to wash utensils when his maidservant stopped coming during the corona pandemic, So had to refers to here compulsion or obligation in the past, And third use of have to and had to is when we talk of purely future obligation, we make use of will have to or shall have to. Example is, you can borrow my car, but you will have to bring it back before 10, You can borrow it, but now the time limit is set that you have got to get it back before 10 o'clock, Dear children, the time is almost running out. So I'll be talking about the usage of do in my next video lesson. But before I sign off, I would very much like to give you the home assignment. Your home assignment is number 1, make 10 sentences showing the use of have. Number 2, fill in the blanks with the suitable words given within brackets. A, the computer, blank space, has or have. You have to make a choice between the two. Crashed. B, he, blank space, done very well at school. Once again, your choice is going to be either have or has. C, did the hotel, blank space, a pool. Options are has, have, or had. D, we, blank space, to do the ironing. The options are has or have. E, my father, blank space, asleep after lunch. The options are have or had. F, the local dramatic society, blank space, done Shakuntala at the theatre yesterday. Options are have or had. G, what time, blank space, you got up. The options are have or had. H, you, blank space, mind your business. Have or had better. I, she, blank space, to take her examination. Options are had, will have. Hope children, you have enjoyed the present video lesson. Have a nice time. Goodbye.
Hello students, welcome to the online English class. I am Priyanka Singh, lecturer English in Government Girls Inter College, Banda. Today we will discuss class 12, subject English Prose, lesson 6, Women's Education, part 1/2, written by Dr. Sarupalli Radhakrishnan. Children, let's start with the points of the lesson. Our first point of discussion will be present day condition of women and requirement of society. In this point, we will discuss what is the condition of women at present time and what kind of women does the society need. In our next point, we will discuss the kind of education. Next point will be purpose of education. Our next point of discussion will be the relevance of education. And the last point of today's topic will be the distinctive quality of women, that is compassion. Students, in ancient times, women were considered with respect and dignity. I think you have already heard about the learned ladies of our country as Apala, Ghosha, Gargi, Lopamudra, Maitreyi and others. But gradually, with the course of time, the position of women declined to such an extent that the birth of the girl child within the family was regarded as a misfortune. Now student, you must know the importance of women education at the present time. So today we will discuss about women education. Now before I start the lesson, I will ask some questions based on your previous knowledge. My first question is, what do we get from our colleges and schools? Yes, we get education from our colleges and schools. My next question is, what is the purpose of education? Yes, the main purpose of education is to enlighten us and our society. My next question, to whom is more needed to enlighten in our society? Yes, very good. Women and girls are more needed to enlighten in our society. My next question is, what are the opportunities available to women? So, dear students, today we will discuss about the lesson Women's Education written by Dr. S. Radha Krishnan. Students, before we start with the lesson, let us know something about the author. The author of this lesson is Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan was born in the year 1888. He was an educationist, philosopher and statesman. Philosopher means thinker and statesman a reputed political leader. He was appointed as the professor of philosophy at Mysore and Calcutta universities. Students, he became an Indian ambassador to USSR. He was the first vice president and the second president of India. The time period of his presidency was from 1962 to 1967. He was also awarded Bharat Ratna in 1954. Bharat Ratna is the highest civilian award of India. His birthday is celebrated in India as Teachers' Day on 5 September every year. We all are very familiar with this function, Teachers' Day, and some of his famous books are Indian Philosophy, Hindu View of Life and Philosophy of Upanishad. Students, before we start with the detailed study of the lesson, let me tell you about the lesson in brief. Dr. Radhakrishnan was a visionary writer. So, he advocated the necessity of education for women. The lesson, Women's Education, lays emphasis on the need of women education in India. The chief aim of education, according to Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, should be to make Indian women act nobly with high thinking. Real education goes beyond the material world and helps men and women to understand the unknown mysteries of this life and life afterwards. It instills in a man the qualities of concentration, self-control and moral strength. Students, let's start with the paragraph 1. Dr. Radhakrishnan tells you are living in an age when there are great opportunities, opportunities means chances, for women in social work, public life and administration. Society requires means needs women of disciplined means orderly, minds and restrained manners. Restrained means controlled and manners means behavior. So restrained manners means controlled behavior. Whatever line of work you undertake, you should bring to it an honest, disciplined mind. You will then succeed and have the joy of your work. In these lines, the writer Dr. Sarupalli Radhakrishnan lays emphasis on the need of education for women in India. He is talking about the kind of education which is required for women. The writer makes it clear that we are now living in an age which is much different from the previous ones. There were times when women were kept confined within the four walls of their houses. But now women are free to come out of their houses and work in different fields of life. They have a lot of opportunities in these fields. They are fit to work in political arena. They can find good position in the field of administration. Students, as you can see at the picture, these are some great Indian women who are very famous in their particular fields. The first picture is of Kiran Bedi, the first lady IPS of India. The second picture is of Lata Mangeshkar, who is known as Swar Kokila of India. The third picture is of Indira Nooyi, the famous businesswoman icon. The fourth picture is of Mary Kom, the famous boxer of India. And the latest example of women empowerment is Shivangi Singh, the first woman fighter pilot of Rafale. So students, they have a lot of opportunities in every field of society, but they should have disciplined mind and controlled manners. According to Radhakrishnan, women should be controlled and disciplined. They should be honest in their dealing. If they take such steps, they will get success in their work. Besides, they will get joy in the work. Overall, the writer Radhakrishnan wants that women should be disciplined and mannered. Now students, I will ask some questions based on the paragraph. My first question is, what are the opportunities for women at present time? Yes, definitely there are great opportunities for women in social, public life and administration. My second question is, what kind of women does the society need now? Yes, women of disciplined minds and restrained manners. My third question is, what kind of education should be imparted? So, in next paragraph, we will discuss about the kind of education according to Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. Actually, in our country, education, so far as girls' education is concerned, is not widespread enough. Widespread means extensive. So, every institution which contributes to the education of girls is worthy of recognition. Recognition means approval and encouragement. But I am anxious that the kind of education that is imparted means given, must not only be broad but should also be deep. we are lacking in depth. Depth means deep. So, Dr. Radhakrishnan was in favor of giving good education to women. The writer tells us about education, particularly about girls' education. In our country, the girls' education is not widespread. So, we should encourage every institution which contributes in spreading the girls' education. There are many institutions which are doing their best to improve the condition of women. Their education must be broad and deep. In these lines, Dr. Sarupalli Radhakrishnan describes the types of education he wants. There are two essentials of good education. Education should be broad as well as should be deep. No doubt the education given in our schools and colleges is very wide, but it is lacking in depth. We should not be satisfied only with learning and skill. All possible encouragement should be given to girls' education in the country. Now students, I will ask some questions based on the paragraph. My first question is, what is the condition of girls' education in our country? Yes, it is not widespread enough. Next question, what should be the main purpose of educational system of our country? We will discuss the main purpose of education in the next paragraph. Now come to the third paragraph. We may become learned and skilled, but if we do not have some kind of purpose means aim in our life, our lives themselves become blind, blundering and bitter. Blundering means full of serious mistakes. The Gita says, Vyavasayatmika buddhire ekeh. For a truly cultured mind, there is a single-mindedness, a dedication to a single purpose. Single-mindedness means concentration of mind at one point, and dedication means full devotion. For the uncultured mind, the whole life is scattered in many directions. Bahusakha Hanantash. Therefore, it is essential that the education which you acquire means to gain. These institutions should give you not merely learning and skill, but Indo means equip you with the definite purpose in life. What that purpose is, you have to define for yourselves. The writer feels that our education is lacking in objective or goal. We may become learned and skilled, but if we do not have some kind of purpose in our life, our lives may become aimless and bitter. We should understand the purpose of our life. Without knowing the purpose, we shall be misguided. We shall do mistakes and our life will be painful. As a phrase is taken from the Bhagavad Gita in this lesson, Vyavasayatmika buddhire ke kurunandan bahushakha henantash buddhyo vyavasayinam, means those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. Means Vyavasayatmika buddhire ke, aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. Bahusakha henantas means multiplicity of purpose. So, Dr. Radhakrishnan says to avoid bitterness and aimlessness in our life, it is essential that education which we gain in the schools and colleges should serve at least two purposes besides other ones. First, it should add to our knowledge and dexterity. Second, it should provide us with a clearly defined purpose in life. Our efforts may be in direction of achieving some purpose, or the other as regards the purpose we have to outline it ourselves depending upon our needs. It is the duty of the students to decide what purpose he has to evolve for his life. It is the learning which counts, as it is the sole thing which stops us doing any wrong thing. Now I will ask some questions based on this paragraph. My first question is, how will our life become blind, blundering and bitter? Yes, without some kind of purposes, our life will become blind, blundering and bitter. My second question is, differentiate between cultured and uncultured mind. Yes, cultured mind is single-mindedness and uncultured mind is scattered in many directions. My next question, what is the relevance of above thoughts? So, in next paragraph, we will discuss about the relevance of education according to Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. Now, students, come to the fourth paragraph of this lesson. It is said that Vidya gives you Vivek. Vimars Rupani Vidya gives you a sense of what is right and helps you to avoid what is wrong. Vimars Rupani Vidya means analytical knowledge which differentiate between right and wrong. You must try therefore to find out what is required. Required means desired of you in this generation. A purpose. Purpose means aim. A purpose which held good centuries ago may not hold good today in view of the rapidly means very fast changing conditions of our country and of the world. So, the purpose which you adopt in your life must be adapted to the relevant. Relevant means connected with the subject, needs of the present generation. Here, the writer says that the real aim of education is to have a definite purpose in life. Education helps us in it by enabling us to decide what is right and what is wrong, as Vimars Rupani Vidya. The writer tells us that knowledge gives us wisdom and enables us to differentiate between right and wrong. He advises us to find out the need of the present generation. The world is very wide and rapidly changing, because change is the law of nature and it is a continuous process. There may be many things which were useful for our forefathers some centuries ago, but they are no more useful in the new circumstances of present days. So, the purpose of life also changes in the changed conditions. One particular purpose cannot hold good at all time. So, it is our duty to decide a purpose of life carefully, keeping in view the needs of the present generation. Education helps us a lot in this matter. Now, students, I will ask some questions based on the paragraph. My first question is, Who gives you Vivek? Yes, Vidya gives you Vivek. My second question is, which type of purpose you should adopt? Yes, the purpose should be adopted to the relevant needs of the present time. My next question is, what particular quality distinguishes men from women? In next paragraph, we will discuss the natural quality of women according to Dr. S. Radha Krishnan. So, come to the next paragraph of this lesson. Compassion means daya is the quality which is more characteristic of women than of men. Compassion means kindness, daya, mercy. I read recently a book which speaks about the decline means decay, of womanhood, and says that this is so because there is a decline in compassion. In other words, the natural quality of women is compassion. If you do not have compassion, you are not human. It is therefore essential means necessary for every human being to develop the quality of considerateness. Considerateness means sympathetic concern for the feelings of others, kindness and compassion. Without these qualities, we are only human animals, nar pashu, not more than that. So, Dr. Radha Krishnan says that compassion or kindness is the natural quality of human being. As we all know about it, it is of greater importance in women. In fact, it is compassion which differentiates man from animal. The writer feels sad to read in an article in a book that the women are losing the natural qualities of their womanhood. The reason for this loss is their losing compassion. The natural virtue of women is compassion. They cannot claim to be women if they lose the quality of compassion. We should be considerate of joys and sorrows of our fellow beings. Pity, sympathy and considerateness make a man civilized. In case we lack in these virtues, we cannot claim to be human beings. We will be man plus animal. In other words, we will have the body of man but the thinking of an animal. So students, now I will ask some questions to you. First question, what is the natural quality of women? Yes, compassion or pity is the natural quality of women. My next question, what is the reason of declination of womanhood? Because there is a decline in the quality of compassion. My next question, what is essential for every human being to become human? Kindness, pity and sympathy are essential qualities to become human. Now students, we will stop here. But let me summarize all the things that we have studied today. The writer Radhakrishnan advocated the necessity of women's education in India. In present time, the opportunities for women are in social work, public life and administration. According to Radhakrishnan, education must not only be broad but should also be deep. Dr. S. Radhakrishnan recommends an education with the definite purpose. We should understand the purpose of our life. Compassion. Pity is the natural quality of women. Without compassion, we are only human animals. So, students, I want you to read the whole lesson very well so that you can understand the lesson. Today, we learned about the present day condition of women and requirement of society, the kind of education, the purpose of education, the relevance of education, and the distinctive quality of women, that is compassion. Students, now I will give you some questions for your home assignment. My first question for your home assignment is, what are the opportunities available to women in our society? Next question for home assignment is, what kind of women does the society need now? Next question, which particular quality distinguishes men from women? And the last question, what kind of education does Dr. Radhakrishnan recommend? Students, I am also giving you a long question. This long question has nothing to do with this lesson. It is totally based on your own thoughts. So, write down in your notebook, write an article in 200 words based on your own thoughts on the topic importance of education for women. It is the long question for your home assignments. So, students, today we have studied class 12th subject English Prose lesson 6 Women Education, topic Women's Education, part 1/2. In our next video, we will discuss about the next part of this lesson, Women's Education, part 2/2. To understand the lesson thoroughly, come to the class after reading the lesson very well. Thank you, students.
अरे बबलू,